Hola chicos, muy buenos días. Qué gusto compartir la mañana con ustedes y estar en escena con tremendos perfiles. Yo les voy a hablar sobre...
I'm going to tell you how to navigate the back-end challenges. First of all, I have to ask you the following. After having heard all of you, how many of you are proud to be engineers? Very good, you're proud of being engineers. Thank you, wonderful. Well, let me tell you, it's a difficult, it's a great opportunity career. It has a lot of opportunities. Scientists study the world as it is, but we engineers create the world that has never been. So I invite you to be proud of yourselves. Those of you who still hesitated to raise your hands when I asked you to, feel proud of yourself. And let's talk about the health check report. What is this? The most advanced version of the reliability report. And this is a tool that Ocean develops, and it's a product. And when you want to solve the problems of your clients, and the business core focuses on sales and the web platforms that are presented and that are important to create a presence on the internet, well then a report such as this is important to identify things. You cannot identify something that you cannot measure, you need to improve things. So with these metrics, our students can identify what could be improved in order to improve their final client's product. This project includes the back-end role, and this is a practice case. We want to illustrate what these roles are for software engineering and systems engineering. I am a back-end. I fulfill that back-end role. And I do that with Batman for the boys or Batgirls, because we don't have superpowers, but we do have our technical skills and capabilities, soft skills as well, are actually acquired through discipline and practice. And this means that we can fulfill a role that is very important in our projects. The back-end role is in charge of creating communication between the CADs and the logic of the business to present them, submit them to the client, to maintain the database and the services and the APIs that are going to submit the information. It's never going to be in contact with the client. The back-end role does not interact with the client, but it's a very important role to fulfill, because you will love it. Undoubtedly, as other superheroes, we do have challenges. And many challenges, for instance, the requirements, that's one of them. You probably are used to, at least if you identify with this role, you get used to not interacting with the client, but that cannot be. You do need to involve yourself something beyond the click. And if you're in the professional world, you will see that our tasks are described as tickets, but the tickets are written by the PM, VA, and by other roles. And each role does have a perspective of the solution. And this means that it's going to have a different vision from the one you have. You have a technical vision. And so all of the different views have to be combined to create the solution that the client really needs. So you cannot be isolated from the other roles. Everything is interconnected, and you cannot be isolated from the solution that the client does need. And that's why it is very important to clarify the roles on time. We have mentioned it more than once, because you have to communicate effectively. If you have questions, your team will always be ready for you. And that's the reason why we need to interact as team members, and we have to interrelate with the team members, BA, UX, UI, because we need to fulfill the expectations of the client. And as always, as a good practice, to be agile and for the development of the software, even though we have a requirement fulfilled and defined, we understand that, and we are going to work on that. And that's going to help us to not invest time in vain, because it will always require something different and some change. And that is how we can have the possibility to adapt. Another important thing are the prior implementations. Just as the team will always be very important in the project, it is also part of the methodologies to be able to rotate the resources. And so we have to be open to to reassign the resource, to take another resource, another professional, to hire another member aboard. And so you will always find projects where people are changing, and you have to adapt to the implementation that was already there, that is already there. And that's a challenge, because you have to understand the documentation that is already there, or you have to understand the existing code. And therefore, you have a debt with the next team. And you need to maintain the documentation up to date and the clean code. And as good engineers, engineering is not just resolving problems, but also preventing them. And one of those challenges, or the important challenges, is communication and teamwork. And that will help us prevent many problems. For instance, maintaining a dynamic communication with the team will help us tell if you're stagnating, or when you are stuck with some implementation issue, if there is some technical issue that doesn't allow you to move forward. And so that's why it's very important to promote trust and transparency. And that is something very key in a company, because that's one of the principles of the culture of a company: transparency. You need to be able to you should be able to tell somebody, your PM and anybody in your team, they should all be supportive if you tell them what you're going through, even whether it's a project or a personal thing. And therefore, this means cooperating truly amongst and between the members of the team. Okay. There will always be some technology, and this will be staying abreast with the new technologies is not an easy matter. You also need to use them to be able to be updated, and you need to find the best practices, and you need to find the best strategies to integrate. And once so your technical knowledge will allow you to identify these kinds of things, what is best, what is good, what are the strengths and weaknesses. And finally, scalability is also, we have to find this, we are always trying to find the most simple solutions, and we want to reuse it, and that should not allow us to doubt our capacity to scale up the solution. If we have one solution that served and resolved the problem of one person, that person is not isolated. It's probably this same solution is capable of solving the problem of many, many more. And so just as it did solve a problem, it should be available to and should be useful for solving millions of problems. And that means that you have to abolish the technical debt. And this is very common. Sometimes it's important to, it's impossible to prevent all the scenarios, to foresee all of the scenarios, and especially because there are limitations of time and budget, even team. And many times the possibility is of a quick solution is there, but it may not be the best. And that will be a problem. It's a cost that you will have to pay later on. So you be aware of that. So those are the challenges that normally a backend will face. But the challenges also bring opportunities. And nothing is easy, nothing that is difficult does not bring a good award. In other words, you have a prize at the end, there's light at the end of the tunnel. And so there is an opportunity to grow personally and professionally. And that is the most important thing. I think that's the greatest advantages of this career, that you can work from your house, you can have a remuneration, a good pay, and you can continue to learn, you can continue to learn and grow, and you can continue to move forward in your career path. So opportunities are immense, and that's why if you have a doubt, if you're thinking, if you're hesitant, and you are not sure of what specialization to take on, I invite you to take all of these experiences in and define what your affinities are, and try and work on your skills, on your personal, technical, and soft skills, and go for the specialties that you're more inclined to, and then just go for your calling, follow your bliss, and then once you leave the university, that whatever experience you have acquired while studying, that is very valuable. So if you can define your specialties right now, and if you can train your skills and your abilities right now, that is going to give you a cutting edge, an advantage over the rest. And that's why I'm saying I think that our career is one of the best, or maybe the best one, because there will always be science, engineering, technology, because we create solutions and we improve lives. Thank you.